Vanessa and Priscilla Pesco. Make sure you join us for our recap. No. I mean, I'd invite our number one superfan, Sabrina Pizesco, but she might watch that now soon and be like, ew, why are you recommending this?
Yeah, she'll be like, stop shouting me out.
Never. Got to get all the promo we can. Welcome back, friends and fans, to the Complete Guide to Horror podcast. Today, we're discussing BP's Pick of the Month, the 2019 film Ready or Not, starring Samara Weaving, Adam Brody, Mark O'Brien, Henry Czerny, don't know how to say that name, and forever eternal actress Andie MacDowell. It follows Samara Weaving's character named Grace, a newlywed who is hunted, by her spouse's wealthy, Satan-worshipping family as part of a wedding night ritual with fatal consequences.
We're going to start the count. Good luck.
Now, just before we go into this episode, so the writer-director team of Matt Bettinelli-Olpin and Tyler Gillett, don't know how to say those names. So they actually started off as YouTubers in the mid-2000s. They had a lot of pranks gone wrong videos where it wasn't necessarily pranks done to other people. It was like short mini horror, short YouTube videos where it's like alien prank gone wrong and it's like jump scares of an alien. They did pick up a lot of traction on some social media sites, some horror movie websites where it was dedicated to just seeing what this originally trio would do at the time. They then got their start in the filmmaking world with VHS, the anthology series where they went under the collective term Radio Silence. They then went on to do a few other movies. Then Ready or Not came out, which is what we're discussing today. And they did this year's Scream sequel and next year's currently untitled Scream sequel as well. Although by the time this episode gets released, it'll probably be called Scrixum or some other stupid title. I've seen that apparently it's just going to be called Scream with 2 exclamation marks. But, well, let's see if that's actually true or not. Now, with Ready or Not, I was surprised to learn that it only made $57.6 million worldwide. So even though it had a $6 billion budget, technically it made 9.5 times its budget at the box office. For some reason, I had this idea that this movie made over $100 million. And considering this was pre-pandemic, I'm surprised because I really liked this movie. I thought this movie was something that was fresh, invigorating, takes a lot of inspiration from, other hunter movies, if you like. But for me, this is like an upgraded version of, the board game Clue, or Cluedo as it's called in some other parts of the world. I just felt that this had this nice cat and mouse game to it. I think Samara Weaving is a seriously underrated actress. She was in The Babysitter Killer Queen. She's also in the upcoming Scream sequel as well. And, it's interesting seeing these Australian actors. Like we said in our episode a few weeks ago on Smile with Caitlin Stacey, Samara Weaving started off in Home and Away. So, her and Caitlin Stacey, hate each other. No, I'm kidding. But, it's funny seeing these actresses go from Australian soap operas to mammoth big horror films. So maybe Ramsay Street and Summer Bay traumatize them that they're I could only act in horror movies now. But I think she delivered such a knockout performance. Critics agreed. But yeah, still very surprised by the box office. I would have thought it was 140 million, 150 million, and yet Smile somehow got 200 million. But anyway, BP, as this is your pick of the month, Why did you pick Ready or Not, and what did you think of the movie?
So I had it on my hard drive, which is probably a good thing because it's generally only good movies stay on there, apart from maybe Rest Stop or something. And I remember watching it back in the day. I'm pretty sure I watched it through word of mouth. I don't remember actually it coming out. I think someone said it was a good film, so I downloaded it years ago, or a couple of years ago when it came out, liked it, and then recommended it for this episode and watched it again. I just think it's a really chilled horror movie. I don't think it doesn't take itself too seriously. Yes, it is a little silly and a bit goofy in areas, but I think that's what sort of makes it a really good, like you say, cat and mouse sort of horror film. It's more, as Wikipedia puts, black comedy horror film. I think it's just horror with a lot of comedic sort of script lines, if anything. I think it's good viewing. The pacing's great. It really doesn't sort of get boring in areas. It sort of keeps you on your toes. And there is that element of sort of risk and, will she get caught? Will she not get caught? What's going to happen? Because it's sort of, at the start, it's like a wedding and everything looks fine. And then it turns into an actual game of hide and seek. And even she's sort of taking the piss going like, I'm not staying in here till dawn, and thinks, and then the first thing is someone gets shot in the head and you're like, holy shit, this like it's getting serious. I had a good time the first time around. I had a really good time the second time around. Samara Weaving does some really great acting, particularly at the end of the film. Likened it to the main actress that's in like Eden Lake. Particularly near the end of the film, I sort of got that reminiscent that like she was really convincing. Thought she did a really good job, and had a good job. The kill scenes are great. Some of the script, the lines are really funny. Like there's a lot of quotes in this that I actually wrote down, and there's one that mentions your name, Justin, which I thought was fitting. But yeah, no, it's a good movie. Like I said, it doesn't take itself too seriously, and I think sort of any sort of horror buff could watch it and go away with that it's they've not wasted an hour and 30, and it's actually been a good viewing experience.
I think this is the first time we haven't bullied you for your pick of the month. Yeah, so
I know. Well, it's like 3 from 3. I think.
Coop, what are your thoughts on Ready or Not?
I hated it. No. I had to. I'd never heard of this movie before until you recommended it, BP, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was quite good. I've seen Samara Weaving in Guns Akimbo. And I remember thinking, I wonder if that's any relation to Hugo Weaving, and Hugo Weaving is her uncle, I believe. So I guess, the whole talent must run in the family, that whole dealio, because I think she's a really good actor and does a really good job in this, and love her outbursts in particular. Gotta love that profanity.
Yeah.
It kind of came to a crescendo in a really satisfying way in the end of that movie. I thought that was really good. So it was just like, what's this movie? And pleasantly surprised. I do like it when I go into a movie just sort of not knowing anything about it. All I knew about it was that Samara Weaving was in it, Adam Brody was in it, and I'd got it mixed up in my head. I was expecting, I always get the names mixed up with Adrian Brody, the guy from King
DOC,
Kong
Entourage.
All of those shows. But I didn't realize it was Adam Brody from the OC. And I thought his character was kind of like whatever. But going into it, I knew nothing about it, knew nothing about the storyline, where it was going. So it was just went along for the ride, and it was quite a good, like you said, Byron, that it was more of a horror sort of with comedic parts. It didn't sort of play out exactly like a comedy horror, and I kind of enjoyed that. It sort of just played at its strengths when it needed to, and I love it when movies do that. And it kind of just went seamlessly through into its comedic parts, into the kind of like the nitty gritty bits, particularly when she's climbing up that I don't know, like garbage chute or whatever it was with dead bodies, and she gets a hand caught on the nail. Yeah, that was rough. And it just at the same time, her reactions to it are both like but at the same time amusing because all the swearing and everything. It's just it's a good time. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, that nail scene always freaks me out. It reminds me so much of Gerald's Game, that Stephen King movie on Netflix where she has to deglove her hand by removing her skin. Just anything to do with nails, anything to do with like blood, things like that, I automatically my voice pops again. I automatically, I don't like it. It just always makes me wince. Overall, it was cohesively excellent. Everything from the casting. I mean, I love Andie MacDowell's character in particular because she's such a she's been in like 50,000 movies and TV shows at this point. That what else could she do to surprise us? And surprise, she plays at first she's nice and inviting, and you think she's just trying to be like the really good stepmom and not stepmom, mother-in-law. And then surprise, she's probably the most vicious out of everyone, being like, kill that bitch. But my favorite sequence in this movie is actually towards the end where, they didn't meet the deadline, so they all just start exploding one by one. I was like, that's cool. I thought maybe it was going to be something else where maybe they just get set on fire or, they just crumble into ashes or something. But to see them just full explode, I was like, this is something that we really needed in 2019. I'm surprised it wasn't more popular, and I will bang on about this again and again. Likewise, also surprised that there wasn't a sequel. I can't imagine how they would do a sequel to this anyway, because it's such a tightly done concept. Most of the family's dead, so it's only Samara's character. But at the same time, maybe it would follow like a new family, or like how Knives Out, they solved that mystery. Now there's Glass Onion, the sequel that's coming out, or actually has come out, I should say. But yeah, lots of favorite parts. This is a movie I'll probably rewatch every 5 years just to be like, oh, let's watch that movie again. That was always a good time. It's a good roller coaster thrill. But yeah, BP, what was your favorite part of Ready or Not?
I'm with you, Justin. The whole movie is generally pretty entertaining. Notable shout out to the character who plays Emily. I was like living for those scenes where she couldn't use the gun or the bow arrow thing. And then I wrote down the quote because she's like, I don't know what I'm doing. And then the other one was, why does this always happen to me? She didn't know what she was doing the whole time. It was just so funny because she was so clumsy as like an actor in it. I actually thought the cast as a whole, it was cohesive. Everyone got along really well. Like, it wasn't awkward. It wasn't forced. Everyone was sort of like, everyone had their sort of own personalities established early, which was really good. As Coop touched as well, that nail scene, it was pretty grueling, which I just think of Home Alone 2, where he goes to step on the nail. I think it's walking down the staircase, and I think of the same thing.
I'm surprised Final Destination hasn't done a death yet, where it's just someone exploding.
Oh, didn't the guy in the pool, when it goes up his...
his organs, that's right. Yeah. Although, were they saying that his organs literally got sucked out of him, or did he explode? I could never figure that out. But anyway, enough about the Final Destination for one episode. Coop, what was your favorite part of Ready or Not?
I'm with you. The people popping was wicked. I was pretty happy when I would have been happy either way if it was just like a sitcom ending of, I guess it isn't true. Well, now we're in-laws. That would have been hilarious as well. But yeah, no, very satisfying ending, I thought, with the people popping, and I thought it was quite amusing as well. So yeah, probably just the way that it sort of built up to that through all the sort of almost slapstick-esque deaths throughout the movie. I love movies like that, where people are just sort of almost accidentally getting killed the whole time. I think it adds a a dark layer of comedy to sort of any movie. And yeah, so that aspect, along with the sort of the end of the movie coming to that crescendo, I thought was probably my favorite part about it.
I'm admittedly reaching for straws trying to find a negative aspect about this movie, so I did have to delve into IMDb goofs and trivia just to see if there was something I might have missed.
I spotted a goof as well on camera. Yeah.
Ooh, I'll leave you to talk about that one, because one thing I noticed is that so Samara Weaving, her hairstyle changes in between some specific shots, even though it's in the same scene. Usually it's something small, like her hair part is on the right, and then when it cuts back to another character, then back to her, the hair part's on the left instead of the right. Just little things like that, which, you know, don't necessarily take away from the movie, but if I'm going to be a complete asshole judge about it, I'd be like, this is wrong. But admittedly, I didn't notice any other goofs, nor do I have anything negative to say about the writing, directing, casting, plot, pacing. Feel like it nailed everything on the head. But BP, you mentioned that you spotted a goof.
Yeah, it's the scene, you know, when she's down underground and she speaks to the partner and he goes, I'll go to do the security, you go down to the kitchen. And she starts ripping off a dress. And then as soon as she starts to walk, because I rewound it, just like I was like, I thought you can actually, I think it must be the cameraman, the slight shadow as they're panning back as she's walking. And I was like, hang on, I just saw something. I went back, and then you can just slightly see the shadow must have been from a light from behind on that. And the only other, wasn't a goof, it was just kind of like a bit of a more of annoyance, was the scene where she gets shot in the barn by the kid in the hand, and then she's screaming with a nail. But like in that whole sequence, no one sort of ran in or no one heard it and sort of came down, and, you know, it was like she got out of there. And I just thought, like, realistically, they would have heard that and someone would have been, you know, running down and done something about it. But it's a movie, so that's pretty much the only thing I could pick apart from that. I mean, apart from that goof with the camera, the editing was good. And I didn't even pick up the hair that you were saying, Justin. It just looked kind of very like she'd been in, I don't know, like it like looked like glue or something was in her hair. It just looked very stringy. Yeah, but she'd been in that mud pile, like the sawtooth pig thing or whatever it is, saw 4 or whatever it was.
Adam Brody's character was kind of just like there throughout this movie, I thought. But otherwise, no, I don't have any sort of gripes or things I didn't like about the movie. I thought it was overall pretty enjoyable.
I don't know if it needs a sequel, as we were talking about earlier. I think it's good on its own. I think at the time when it came out, personally, I don't actually remember really seeing this being advertised. I have a feeling it was a bit of a, maybe they even thought they weren't sure if it was going to be a box office success or not. So even though you're saying it didn't make 200 mil or 100 mil, like the fact it made, 58, I think, was it?
56 million, I think.
56 million on a $9 million budget, I think it was. $6 million budget. That's crazy. Like, it's props to them. I think it's a horror movie that I could even, you know, get one of my sisters to watch, or someone that doesn't really delve into a horror movie. I think there's enough sort of comedy in there as well to kind of justify it. Like, yeah, there's a little bit of gore here and there. Nothing really grilling except maybe the nail scene. I mean, a lot of the gunshot scenes, like, good CGI, good blood, but nothing that's really like blood and gore, like a, you know, a Saw or a Hostel kind of film is. So I think it's a good viewing experience for maybe someone that's a casual horror fan and wants to sort of watch something with good acting and good kill scenes and, yeah, a good time. Yeah.
On that note, Vanessa and Priscilla Pesco, make sure you join us for our recap. No. I mean, I didn't buy our number one super fan, Sabrina Pesco, but she might watch that now scene and be like, ew, why are you recommending this?
Yeah, she'll be like, stop shouting me out.
Never. Got to get all the promo we can. Coop, do you have any final thoughts or opinions on Ready or Not?
Yeah, I just thought what Byron was saying was a really good point. I think this is something that I would probably recommend to my mum to watch. I think she'd actually enjoy something like this. I think it does appeal to a pretty wide audience if someone can at least deal with the slightest little bit of gore. Then I don't know. I reckon they could probably find a way to enjoy this movie. It looks really good. There's, for the most part, really good acting in it. And yeah, just a really good blend of comedy and horror, and I really enjoyed it.
Nice. Also, shout out to our other super fan, Yvonne.
His girlfriend, when one video ends, just open up another one. It's called being human. Go ahead. I support you.